Welcome to the ideaHUB Innovators podcast, where we spotlight the innovators and changemakers using entrepreneurship to drive impact and uplift communities. I'm your host, Dr. Letitia Vickery, an educator, researcher, and business strategist passionate about helping entrepreneurs turn vision into reality. Today's guest is a true force of faith and beauty, Dbora, founder of Dbora Cosmetics and Women in Power, joined by her business partner and son, Romee Gooden. For over 20 years, Dbora has built an inspiring cosmetics empire rooted in self-worth, service, and empowerment. From working with royalty and celebrities to uplifting women in shelters, hospitals, and underserved communities, she's on a mission to help women feel confident inside and out. Get ready for a conversation filled with purpose, elegance, and unstoppable faith. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. With me today is
Dbora of Dbora Cosmetics.
And Romee Gooden of Dbora Cosmetics.
All right. So we have an awesome mother-son duo here, right?
Yep.
I've been blessed to know you a few years through the Ascend program. So why don't we start off with you sharing about the motivation behind starting Dbora Cosmetics? How did this company come about? Tell us about its inception.
Well, it's many years ago, in 2002. I, at that time, had been spending a lot of time working individually with private clients. That had become something that was really snowballing into something that really was focused a little bit too much on one person. So over the years, I turned it into a business. So had to start trying to look for help, people to work with me. But what really started it off, what really got it to become a company was just the fact that I was really focusing more on self-care and allowing a woman to feel confident in her life, because I know it was very intimidating, and it was something that a lot of women I noticed struggled with in the I would say the department stores and out in stores. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people that I would come into interaction with, I noticed they were very uncomfortable. So it was a little bit overwhelming, and I was drawn to having an experience where I was able to do one-on-one care with them. That was a big factor. So that's how it started.
So that desire to pour into others.
Exactly.
That's wonderful. Exactly. That's wonderful. And at what point did you pull in your business partner?
Ooh. My business partner, my son, Romee. Wow. It was about 7 years in. He was in school, and I had a conversation with him about what I had spent so many years working on, and I just wanted to know how he felt about it. I didn't want him to feel that he had to be obligated to work in the business, but I had a conversation. And he said, "Mom, I'll get back with you on that. I want to think about it." So he was still in school at that time, and I think he can give you a little insight on that himself.
So I think your journey is so important, Romee, because there's so many families who have started a business, and the owner has children, and they're trying to figure out what's next for their family, what's next for the business, right? So as the child, now business partner in this relationship, right? How did you make that decision to join the business, right? How did you decide that this would be the path you would take to develop your own journey?
Well, I always think about a light bulb moment. I was in the mall, and I saw all of my friends working for all the stores I wanted to work for, Hugo Boss, Gucci, and just all the big brands at that time. And I was like, something just clicked. Something after that conversation that I had with Mom, and something clicked and said, your brand can be just as big as that one day. Mm-hmm. And that's like a huge moment that really made me think about the whole decision of doing this family business in a whole different light.
So what skill sets did you acquire once you realized, look, you know what? I want to do this. I want to join you. What was it important for you to learn to be ready to take on that role?
Well, I really didn't know what that ensued. I just knew this was a makeup company, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do with a makeup company? But one of the major things that my mom shared with me is that it doesn't have to exactly be about makeup. She used the example of Mary Kay and a lot of other brands. Their children, carry on the brand. Many, powerhouse companies, their children carry on the brand. So it didn't have to be limited to the makeup. So initially, I just started anything that I could find my hands to do to help. If that was just cleaning or assisting with receipts, and something as small as that was like a learning curve for me to know how to write up receipts. And back then, we were actually writing actual receipts.
We were actually, we had receipt books.
That's before we had Square and all of these processing systems. But so that that was the process, and then from there, it with business, especially as entrepreneurs, we have to do everything from cleaning to the accounting to the
wear
marketing,
a lot of hats.
Everything. So it's all part of it, and just a little bit at a time, you learn as you go.
And I do want to say this that was so wonderful is he took his time before he came back with the answer. He was still in high school, and he said, "Mom, I think I can see myself doing this." And I love it because he was so innocent and he was so humble. And I was able to pour more into him than I had done with many young other women that I had trained and coached and mentored. A lot of them, I think they challenged me more than anything, wherein he came in so humble. And that's why he's the guru that he is right now, master artist right now. And when he came in, it was just like some of my existing clients was like, I love Romee, but no, I'm good. And then now those same clients, it's really interesting.
They want him.
They want him, and they'll wait for him. And I'm like, wait. So it means that his heart, he took his time. So when he made up in his mind he was going to do something, there was no turning back. There was no turning back. And the way that the business is running now, I have to say that he took the hard work that I had put into place. This is over 22 years. We're approaching our 23rd year right now. Wow. And the products and the seriousness of customer relation is a big deal. And he valued that. And anyone that comes in contact with him is like he just pours into them. And so I believe he engrafted in. It was engrafted into him, the fact that customer service and what it means to actually care for one thing and one thing only, and that is to give that woman that experience that she's not going to get anywhere else. And anyone who comes in contact with him and what we have to offer as a business, it's just never changed. And I literally have generations right now that have been with us.
That's wonderful. That's such a beautiful story. So from that small little seed, right, to believing, one, that you could do this and you can do it better than some of the well-known brands that are out there, right? And having that belief in yourself, and then you being open to the wealth that you could create for your family in pursuing this goal and supporting this goal. And by wealth, I'm not just talking about monetary, right?
Yeah.
But building that foundation for generations to come.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
How important is that?
Yeah.
It's so important, 100%. I think on that note, a lot of youth and even adults, they don't really think about future and how long it takes to build something. That was another huge part is as I started studying, I went to school for business and marketing, and I have a business degree. And, along that journey, just being able to really see any great business that we think of. I also worked for, multiple years through mom getting me connected with Chanel, with beauty and fragrance. I was a traveling Chanel freelancer. And just seeing all these powerhouse brands and things like that as I studied any large business, Apple, anything that we think is a huge business, it didn't just start over 10 years, 20 years. These are businesses that have been around for decades, some of them even, generations. And that is another thing that along the journey was like, you need to continue on this journey, and this is why. Through the hard times, the frustration, the headaches that come with running business, period. You have to stay the journey, because trying to do something on your own, it's not that you can't do it.
It's like you're starting it all over.
You're starting it all over versus working with the system that's already on a solid foundation. And that's what I saw. I saw women come in here as a guy. I'm like, women spending $50 on makeup? As a kid, $50 is like, whoa. And then now turning around and being there for months and years and seeing women spend $500, $1,000 on makeup in a middle-class neighborhood. I'm like, what is happening here? So I never thought that.
It's an investment in self.
It's an investment in self.
One-on-one service.
So it allowed me to see that it was something powerful. One last thing on that note, during the pandemic, people were hounding us down to any way they can get connected with us through products. They were trying to get us to come to the house. We were not coming out the house. We were like not trying to get sick. And
that was interesting.
It showed through the pandemic. We were trying so hard with loans and different things. And I was like, if we put our minds together, do these Zoom calls, everyone was saying, let's do a Zoom call, a ready in 5 look, something that can get us ready for work, 5-minute look. Let's do it. We'll get our girls together. We're very connected to the sororities and things like that. And
we had some wonderful experiences during the pandemic because, the self-care came into place through the Zoom calls. We were actually able to teach people how to still take care of themselves. And that was another thing that was very, it was very challenging, but it was wonderful because we literally were having at one time a whole group of women that was like, oh my God, dark circles. Oh my God, I don't see myself like, so I don't know what it is to see what to do with my face. So we were able to actually do Zoom calls, teaching them how to do home facials, healthcare, and then also teaching them how to do ready in 5, just how to get your face, because they needed to have their businesses on Zoom. So we taught them how to look a certain way and feel confident. There goes back, to that. And we were able to give them peace, and they were so happy. So we did orders. It was wonderful. And I had a lot of supporters. But that goes back to the longevity of the amount of years that had been there. They trusted us.
That's right.
And rode with you through.
Absolutely.
Through a difficult time for many businesses.
And I originally went through 2008. Everyone knows that.
So
that was
you've
already
had multiple crises that you survived. Right? So that's amazing. That shows the strength of what you've built. And your own your own perseverance. Right? Now, so much has been said, but I want to take one more moment to highlight something about Romee and the plan that you put in place for him.
Thank you.
I think it speaks volumes that you didn't just bring him into the company and say, no, you're going to learn everything you need to know here in this company. But you sent him out and ensured, or he sent himself out, however it worked.
No, I sent him out.
Right? And ensured that he learned from other long-established companies, so then he could bring that knowledge back with him. That is such an important thing, because most times our family businesses that we see, they don't plan in that way. It's like, no, here's your foundation. We have our own. Let's do it this way.
It's funny you say that, because I really, it was important to me that he had, I trained him in the makeup. It was so interesting, training a young man how to do eyelash extensions. And he's like holding the tweezer a certain way. It was just so wonderful. But again, he thought about it, and in his mind, he said, all these beautiful women, I don't mind.
That's right.
And then it was funny because I wanted him to have all the skills and the system that I had. Yes. It was a lot of precision in what it is that I do. My hand is gifted. God gifted my hand, right? No one ever taught me makeup. So when I touch on someone's face, it's like all of a sudden it's like art. And so I had this desire to bring out the best beauty, not to mask a woman's beauty, to enhance what she truly is, right? So as I was training him, And as I was teaching him, what was so beautiful was just that I said, I don't want him to only know what I know. So I went into some of my connections, and I never lost my connections. I remember the first time someone tried to say something funny to my son. I said, son, stay where you are. Do you remember that guy?
Yes.
What did he say to you?
Well, I think he actually, you talking about at Chanel?
No, the first location you went to, and they was like, no, who are you? What do you know? What do you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
It was-
I went through so many things.
And I said, hold on. So
Gatekeepers, people trying to keep you away. Yeah.
And next thing you know, I just looked at him and I said, you see where you are? You see how trust me, how did you get here? And the moral of the story is, I just name dropped a couple things. And next thing you know, he was hired right there, Christian Dior. And then I said, son, when you go to work for someone, I said, just as much as you believe in what mommy's taught you for Dbora Cosmetics, I said, never short anyone. When you're on their clock, what did I tell you?
It's all about the job.
100%. You give them 100%.
100%.
You're not 1 foot there and 1 foot with Dbora Cosmetics. So that was important.
It sure was.
Was for him to give them 100%.
Right.
And he did.
Right.
And they loved him. And the next thing you know, they tried to keep him.
Well, that speaks to your work ethic, right?
Yes.
But we know where you belong,
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
And I think that's so amazing, right? So talking about how you instill that kind of work ethic, right? That those are things that you can't lose. You take it, you build it, you pour it into others as you go.
Right.
You know? So now let's get back to the evolution of Dbora Cosmetics, right? You talked about starting to train Romee in it, that type of succession planning, pivoting through first the 2008 economic crisis.
Oh, God.
Then the pandemic.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Where are you now?
I'm going to let Romee say that because that speaks to what he's done over the years because he's reached his decade in the business.
Yes, I have. And I would say right now we're just really excited. We're at this point, there's so many opportunities that we have that's unfolding, and we're just ready for all of them. Something that we've moved the business from into is we've moved it from just a storefront concept of you operate here. I heard a lot of people saying to me, oh, I'm surprised someone would come to a mom and pop location and find you guys. I'm like,
What does that
mom
mean?
and pop. I've never considered ourselves a mom and pop. So I was like, well, what can I do? And when people make so many, small comments about things, it makes me see that, oh, you see us in this small box. Well, how can we get out of this small box? So I was like, well, what can we do to not just be a mom and pop store? And what we've done with that is started partnerships with other luxury businesses that offer different but
Complementing each other.
complementary services. So a lot of hair salons, but we've extended our partnerships from just hair salons to also clothing stores,
Yes,
jewelry stores, and any luxury business that really focuses on the customer experience.
Customer experience. It's a big deal.
We've now morphed into a service agency for personal makeup service.
Right.
Anytime, anywhere.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so next time y'all see my face, I'm gonna have some Dbora Cosmetics skills.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
So, what are the milestones, right? Every business, as you evolve, you achieve certain milestones that lets you know you're on the right track. And the moments that are like, wow, here we are.
Here we are,
Even though
yeah.
we're growing more.
Yeah.
Here we are. What are some of those milestones that you all are really proud of?
Ooh. Oh,
100
what?
Black women being
Oh,
honored
wow. I was honored.
recently.
Yes,
for
I
her
was just
birthday.
recently honored by the 100 Black Women of America.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much. It's been quite a few. I've had a few honors, but the thing that's so wonderful is I pour into a lot of young people. That's like a big deal to me, is to empower them, to encourage them, which is also interesting about how I met you and the Ascend program and what they poured into me in terms of helping my business to have a little bit more I would say structure to it, because of how I started. It's like the art, and it's like an artist runs with that. But to be an entrepreneur, you have to actually take time and address some of the things behind the scenes. And that's where I was really blessed in that area. But what it is I pour into a lot of other people. So that's able to strengthen the company, where we're calling it agency. That means we're able to hire you and send you into places and arenas that you would never have exposure to. You would never have exposure, because I used to work with the royals. I've sat with Queen Elizabeth. You know, I've been to these arenas before, spending a lot of time overseas. You know, so it's not just the cosmetics, it's the history. And it's the ability to work in so many different levels with so many different types of people. That's a big deal.
Right.
And so I try to impart that into other people, other women.
Right.
Okay. And I love working with males.
Talk about it, because we don't often talk about the male side of male needs in the
'cause
cosmetic journey.
I love for a man to take care of himself. There's been some women that have gifted their husbands to come and have self-care. That's a big deal, is to teach them hygiene, how to know how to take care of themselves, other than, I just get in the shower and the same thing. And I'm like, yes, skin, you can get some more treatment going on there.
That's right.
Which self-care is a big deal with Romee. He's very much into self-care. But yeah, the men, and also men, there's a lot of male artists, right? That really, again, as Romee started explaining, he said, I want to see her look like this, right? I want to fix this and just enhance her beauty. And it's just funny how a male sees the female as opposed to just a female seeing the female. So yeah.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
Interesting. So you were honored. I know that you've some of the women in 100, the coalition of 100 Black women have been clientele of Dbora Cosmetics. What other big names?
Oh, Jack and Jill. Oh my goodness. Let me
Can
see.
you share? Because of course, clientele is private information.
Well, yeah, definitely. We have had so many cool projects. We worked with some aristocratic families when they were here through our partnerships.
Yes.
And that's been something I've been excited about, because you're not going to, in business, once you know the problem, then you can find a solution and you work your way to that solution. If you have a goal, you work your way to that goal.
Right.
So the partnerships have been a joint effort on both ends. We're helping scale businesses through our partnership.
Yes.
So it's not like we're just coming in and trying to find clients or trying to do something in your space. We're coming in and we're also offering services that elevate the experience and, scale the business. But there, we were able to work with a Ritz-Carlton developer and owner of the Ritz-Carlton, which is huge. That's one of like the largest hotel names.
I'm so funny with names. It's so funny how over the years I've worked with so many people, and I've always kind of kept that. A lot of them are very sensitive. They're very private.
Right, exactly.
Because we're in their homes. That's a big deal. We're in their homes, and so we try to keep that respect.
Yeah, that trust, that level of confidentiality is so important, right? And when you are in someone's home, even when you're in their personal space,
right? And that's exactly the safe space,
right? Exactly, the services that you're providing, which is why I say the ones that you can share, right? And I think it's important to share that, because that is a part of your milestones. As you are a company that's developing, your clientele will start in one space,
right?
And then you will branch out, and your clientele will grow. The almost, I would say, eliteness of your clientele will grow with the company. What I love so much about Dbora Cosmetics is that everyone is on the same elite level with you all.
Yeah,
That's right.
And
true.
It comes off like you've never said that to me, but that is how it comes off.
Yeah.
Like you treat everyone as if you were servicing
That is exactly
a queen.
what
right?
That's exactly our sentiment. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's that you are basically, I always laugh and say, if you were the queen, we're going to treat you as if you're the queen. Like,
That's
we
right.
want that experience for the client.
Yeah, I'm never going to let anyone go on film. I'm never going to let anyone walk out. And sometimes they catch me behind the scenes and I'm fixing someone. I'm fixing it because I don't want you to be seen in a certain way. So, yeah, I want you to feel that trust.
Right.
And yes, that's exactly what we've been able to hold on for over 22, about to approach 23 years.
Wonderful. Now, let's get into the beauty industry.
Okay.
Right. 22 years worth of knowledge.
Yes.
Right. Where's the beauty industry now? What are some of the challenges that you see other business owners in this industry are grappling with, and some of the solutions to help them approach that? Because 22 years, that's expert. That's expert level. So we need some of this expert advice and guidance.
Thank you. Oh, should you start?
Yeah, I'll take a little bit on that. Well, one huge thing is always getting the help to grow a business. Even anything, nails, hair, makeup, beauty, the beauty industry. Stylist. We're really subject to our hand. You have a gift. Some people, they may reach celebrity level, things like that. That's generally like the climax of your career is like working with the celebrity or TV. And that's a very different lifestyle. You have to be subject to being with that person around the clock a lot of times. Whenever they say go, you may have to leave family. You may have to, it's just a different lifestyle. And it's great because some people, they like that. Now, if you want something more stationary, you're generally like in a department store, or you work in a salon or something, or you may even own your own salon.
Right.
But again, you're subject to what your hand can do, how many faces that you can do in a day, and how consistently you can do that. You may be able to do that for a good 5, 10, 20 years, 30 years maybe. But it gets to a point where all of us, we're human, and you need a break, you need a vacation. And that's the struggle for our industry, is that it's hard to get time off. It's hard to get vacations. And the solution that I really believe with that is the concept of staffing. And that's why we've moved now to the concept of staffing and lifestyle makeup services, which are not just for your wedding or just for your birthday.
Lifestyle makeup.
Yeah. Because before, that's when you would do makeup is for your birthday, for a wedding.
Right.
Mom always says people weren't wearing makeup.
They weren't, especially women
People
of color, right? They were not wearing makeup,
Because they would say,
they just didn't,
say, I'm good.
They say, I don't like
I
makeup.
don't need all that. And we generally like our skin, we have more oil production, so we don't really need, we don't need a lot. However, the thing is that now, because of reality TV, YouTube, a lot of these different things, it's caused people to wear way more makeup than we ever have. Just
they are overdoing it, a lot of them. That's the challenge. That's another one of the challenges, is because they're just taking it out of context, and hygiene is a big issue.
When it comes to the makeup artist, right? But you know what? The thing that we really see for our industry is being able to take more lifestyle, now that people want to really get into wearing makeup as a lifestyle.
Right.
On an everyday basis, we see that we can be able to train a staff to say, you're going to work with our client here. Yeah. This is exactly what she wants. We're going to take out all the middle work, so you never have to start again. Because generally, if you get a nail person you like, a hair person you like, a makeup person you like, you want that person. We all want, I want my barber, right? But the thing is that what happens is, what if the barber, God forbid, moves away, passes away, something, right? We have to start all over again. What if you have an early 5 a.m. flight or something?
Yeah, you have to leave.
You have to leave.
Now you left.
With no one. So what we're seeing now is creating more opportunities, using the wealth of knowledge that I've tapped into, but really Mom knows. And she's worked in so many different arenas across so many different ethnicities, platforms. And now we're really able to say, with this job, you're going to need to be here this time. They're saying it's just going to be this, but it's really going to be this. It just happened to me yesterday. I just did a huge project in Manhattan for Bridal Fashion Week. And with that, I was expecting, it's going to be in and out. Mom was like, oh, no, did you factor in this? Did you do this? Things that I'm just thinking she's saying, all these extra things, but it were things that she really knew from her years of work.
Yeah.
And now that's where we're able to help people we're
able to train them and prepare them for
to be
this.
Prepared for it.
And we want to make sure that when a client of any magnitude now, we're going to different platforms, that our staff and anyone that's going out is able to handle it.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, we have clients that's in their 90s that get their makeup done several times per week.
Right, as a lifestyle.
You wouldn't even believe that.
Wow.
We're going to someone over 90. This is a very regular thing that a lot of people just don't know about. And then you have the young people, and then you have the what I call them. Socialites. And then you just have women that are just makeup junkies. And so all of these different types of skin, all of these different types of careers.
Right.
You can't just paste the same kind of makeup on a person's face. So we want to prepare our artists, our people that we're sending out, to be able to work on all different levels, all different types of skin, all different types of looks.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you started off with staffing, right?
Yeah.
As one of the major issues that this industry has to stay on top of, right?
Yes,
and
yes,
you
yes.
talked about your approach to making certain that your staff can meet any challenge, can meet the client where they are,
Right.
And doesn't cause the client to have to start from scratch, right? Now, I often ask about retention as an issue.
That is a big issue.
How do you retain staff, especially in an industry where people feel like, I just need to learn it and then I could do it on my own?
Which is what I dealt with for many years.
Yeah, and we still deal with that.
Yes.
But through the concept of first working with the client, really acquiring clients that want lifestyle makeup, because most clients, they're just like, they want to learn it. They're like, teach me a little something so I can buy the product and then I'll just figure it out, because that's what mostly everybody does. But the thing is that what we're really acquiring is clients that really love makeup service. And you'd be surprised how many people really love makeup service, not just the product alone. And I really thought about that. Women really want someone to do their makeup. That's why you go to the department stores. And when I worked in the department stores, women would always come, and there's something at the counter that you have to buy a minimum of 3 products. Or they charge you to get a makeover. But women always try to come, I just wanted to see something new or whatever, just to try to act like they're going to buy something, but they want you to do their makeup. So I'm like, well, why not just give people a price to do their makeup? And it doesn't have to be astronomical, but let it cover whatever it needs to cover. Just tell them this is the price and that's it. And basically that's what we've, done. And with that, it's allowed us to be able to now hire and train people to say, this client is going to need you from these times to this time.
Right.
If you got to go on vacation, if you're sick, if you need time away, we'll step in.
Right.
And we create a business model off of a staple look. So your staple look is something that you love. It's something that you feel empowered with. That's universal to your closet. When we get you that look, our staff learns that look. So that way you're never starting over again.
Right. And that's that's one of the things we're still working on, looking for artists that are serious about, it doesn't mean that they have to just work with us. However, we want to make sure that if they're booking with us, that they're reliable, professional, and have gone through stages of training with us so that they are able to do these things. And I think that would help the retention. Okay. Because that is, I think, in the industry today, just period, is just no loyalty. And we're working on changing that. We're working really hard on changing that by also, like I said, the different types of places, like where Romee wound up yesterday, for example, just some of the locations that we work with, some of the opportunities, the travel and all of those types of things. Is a lot of the artists right now, because everyone is claiming that they're professional artists and they have no training. Okay, they just know how to do a certain look, and they know how to make someone look pretty. But it's much bigger than that. Safety. I keep talking about hygiene, right? Because a lot of them don't even know how to clean their brushes. They're using makeup, and people are having. That's why the insurance world has gone up so high in the beauty industry, because everyone claims they're professional. No, nothing that they have is equaling professional, and that they're professional. But the thing is that they're still working like that, and then now people are suing. People are coming in with all these types of issues because they don't have any training.
Right.
And they're just in a hurry to be the owner. They're in a hurry to hold the title CEO. I own my own business. And you still need to follow before you can lead anybody. How can you consider yourself a owner? You've never worked for anyone. And then the social media is opening the door to all of these dreams, which there still has to be steps that has to be taken. And then now when you are able to go out there and you are able to work, we just did something in, I just did something with, was it Pink? What is it? Pink Aid? A couple days ago, doing a lot of charities. You know, you do a lot, you have to give as well. You have
Community impact.
Pay forward. And we do a lot of that. And I've done that with a lot of organizations, even Women in Hiding, all different levels of charity we work with as well. There's a lot of things that we do with charity.
I mean, it's the give back.
It's the give back.
And it's really the service, I always say. Because really now, I don't even think we want to just hire for makeup artists. We want to hire for hospitality specialists, people that really lean into customer service.
Right.
I was just having this conversation. A client, it comes to me all the time, wants to just put powder on and pays for a full makeover. So I feel like I'm doing you a disservice. I'm like, you always just want powder. You say you just want very, very natural powder, little brush to your brows, a little lip gloss. I can just give you the products. We have our own products. And they just want the service. They're not looking for anything. They feel happy. I'm like, are you sure you don't want any eyeshadow? Are you sure you don't want any of this? They're just happy with that. And I realized our clientele, because you also always have to know your clientele.
Yes.
Your target market.
Your target market.
Yeah.
Our target market really are industry leaders.
Yes.
And leisure women.
Leisure.
Right.
Women of leisure.
Women of leisure.
Yeah.
And when we really found out that unlocked our target market, that has helped us, going forward to really know who to target and how to be successful in business, because you have to know your target market in business to be successful.
Yeah. You have to speak their language.
You have to speak their language, and that helps you know where to find them.
Right. And know how to fit into their everyday lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Like you were saying.
Yeah.
That's evident from your model, right? I could tell that from the model, from the we'll meet you wherever you are. Will you need us at this time?
Yeah.
We will show up.
Yes,
right. It's all about that personalized service. And it really either you're focused on developing that lifestyle and you're sitting in your lifestyle, you want to enjoy your lifestyle, so you're looking for that leisure and things that are going to speak to that.
Yes.
Or you are on the go and you have to be on and you have to be ready, and that's creating a look that makes you feel powerful is not your forte.
Right.
So you call a professional.
We call a professional.
Right?
And we at Dbora Cosmetics, we got you. We definitely going to take care of you. Yeah.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And so let's focus on Dbora and Romee, right? Let's get back to you guys.
Okay.
Building a business stretches you as a person, right? It requires you to grow in different ways. So starting first with Dbora, how has building this business stretched you?
That's a good question.
How has it stretched me? I think
9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I'm on my way.
I've been, like you said, when I think about 2008, that was very challenging. That was something to let me know how resilient I was. Once I decided there was going to be this company, I remember when I used to work, I was a what they call a trainer, makeup artist trainer. So what that means is that I used to work with Trish McElroy. I used to work on almost every brand, and I would go to different cities, and it's like my presence there would cause people to upgrade how they perform. So that's why a lot of times I knew it wasn't just the art. It was more of everything that encompasses your presence, how you communicate with clients, how you speak, how you look at them, right? How you pay attention to them. They need to be, they need to be heard, right? So it stretched me because when times got really, really rough and I felt like I was going to have to close my doors, because originally I started in a truck. Matter of fact, I started in a car. Then I had to do garden parties. I remember the garden parties. My son was so little. It was the biggest thing. I even had my brothers. Oh, God, that was funny. Oh, my God. My brothers were so funny because they had my bag. My sister, oh, my goodness. Because I didn't have as much help, but it was growing so fast. And what I realized was that when times got hard, and it's like all the dust settled, and it was like, okay, how are you going to pay the bills? How are you going to pay the bills at this location? Because I eventually went from a car to a truck to 2 trucks to 3 vehicles. And it was just like I had friends, just everyone was helping me. And after a while, I realized that I was pushed and I almost crashed. I almost crashed during 2008. And I just was like, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? And it just showed, it let me see that, I needed to prepare for a rainy day. And I remember actually physically getting sick, just like I just really got nervous. And that's when I asked my son that question. And I wanted to know, what happens? You're the only child. What's going to happen to everything that I've put into this business? What do I do, son? If I leave, what's going to happen? And I talked to him, and it made us so close because I considered his feelings. I considered what did he want to do for the rest of his life, for him to have his family, and what was his future going to be like. So it squeezed me into reality, which was meaning I wasn't going to give up. I was determined. That was a big thing for me, was making up in my mind. I was determined that whatever I started, I was going to finish. And I did. And I'm still working on it. And my son picked up from it, and it's brought us we were already close. I don't know.
Closer.
Just closer. So it's, that's how I see it.
Yeah.
It's just never giving up, the resilience. Yeah. The determination.
Made you even more resilient.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there has to be a seed of that in you.
Right. Right.
And it waters that seed.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Well, he's watering the seed. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And Romee, for you, how's it stretched you being a business owner?
It stretched me. I was talking about 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, because some of the clients when we were in Uniondale would call and be like, I'm on my way. We didn't even have hours. So whenever I came in, I'm like, we need business hours. And because, another thing with me too is I'm not a morning person. Okay. But, most real serious entrepreneurs, they're always 5 a.m., 4 a.m. So I've been trying to get up a little earlier.
You've been doing a good job.
Still working on it.
He's been doing a good job.
But
let's talk about that real quick. So I think there is this false sense of you have to be on a certain time clock, right? And really, the truth of the matter is you need to understand the way your body works most effectively, most efficiently, and lean fully into that. Understand where you can make changes that will be beneficial to you and what you're trying to accomplish. Yeah. But don't go with what a lot of entrepreneurs say.
The standard.
The only people who say that are the people who are morning people.
Right. You know what I mean?
So whatever works for your body, as long as you are pushing yourself and accomplishing your goals in that time frame,
that's
you're
true.
good.
Right, meeting your deadlines, so that's important to me. So I am about deadlines, scheduling.
He's much more structured than I am, and that's what I believe that degree got him too.
That yin and yang. You bring your strengths, he brings his.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that that was the thing that was stretching, is that the business we would start whenever we got our first call, or if we had to go in there and get inventory done or something, right? So that might be 10 o'clock, maybe 11, a little later, but it was no exactly this time, that time, exactly. But then we started to enforce those times because we were being stretched. People would be coming, talking about 12 o'clock at night.
I'm on my way.
They're just walking in the door.
I'm sorry, but they come in and you can see they've been out getting everything else done, and it just was too much. My son was like, "Mommy, you have to take a day off." I didn't even know what that was.
Those people, and I realized those people were going out like partying, right? Then we'd have people calling us super early
in the
because
morning.
they were business people.
Oh, you need to open your business. You should have a lot of businesses are open at 6, and I'm like, oh my God, but what about the people that are trying to get us? Oh, so we had to follow.
Understanding your structure.
That was squeezing us into.
Those were the beginnings of realizing structure needed to be like enforced.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we were being stretched, and I definitely was being stretched.
Yeah.
This was part of, and I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, you can be very rigid and say, well, I'm open here and I'm doing here, but you have to be able to get the revenue to keep your business flowing. And that's what's so powerful about what, you know, Mom has laid and put down is that we're still here 20 going on 23 years.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's really awesome, but it didn't take mindset like me, which is business hours, this, that, because you can do that. And even in the new things that we've enforced, you have to be flexible a little bit. But, you know, that was one of the huge things was just really
But we did need to practice boundaries that he
being-
was good at doing.
the
Okay.
boundaries, but really working with what works best for the business.
Yeah.
And
Right,
we
right.
are the business, because
Right.
if we can't operate, we can't function, then the business is not going to continue. So we had to
Right.
make very tough decisions on so many things in the business, even when it came to rates with the business,
Yes.
because we were being stretched, we were losing opportunities,
Yeah.
just to continue a system that was no longer working
Yes.
for the business anymore.
And
you
those
know?
are always hard but necessary decisions, right?
Yeah.
Now, you guys have taken us on the journey, right? You've given
Yeah.
us that insider view, the lessons that you've learned along the way. To wrap up, quick 30 seconds, what legacy do you want to leave behind when all is said and done?
Well, I want the Dbora Cosmetics to still be able to employ others and work, but not to feel like you're working. I think that's been a big model to me, is to enjoy, because a lot of people, if you think about it, I just want you to like live while you live. And one of my saying is live, love, and love while you live. Live, love, and love while you live. And what takes up the majority of our time is work. So I've always had lots and lots of chairs in most of my locations. And someone's always said, "Do you live here?" And I'm like, "No, I don't live on this street." Because I always wanted it to feel like you're at home when you come into our business. And when I come into your home, I wanted to bring excellence to you so you can feel that. So the legacy for me would be that my son, right? And what he's going to continue on is just being secure financially, right? And to love while you're still continuing on to Dbora Cosmetics. That would be what would make me feel really comfortable, is for him to be, and put it like this, he's not necessarily the word artist, he's an entrepreneur, and that he's able to help and employ others and give them opportunities where they're able to soar. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and Romee, I'm going to ask you a different question.
Okay.
Now, 5, 10, 15 years from now, where do you see Dbora Cosmetics going?
Oh my goodness. I see us going so far. I'm about to laugh and like tear at the same time. Because I have so many high hopes and visions for the company. I'm just excited, honestly. I feel that for entrepreneurs and business partners, I see bigger opportunities internationally, that people can honestly have great service and be able to, you know, be treated properly. Like when you go places, a lot of times restaurants, you're not treated right. Anywhere with service. And I love when I meet someone that really leans into their work, into their service job. And it makes me just want to say, I want to invest. I want to give like to this person, to this work, and I want our business to be seen as a company that stands on excellent royal service to everyone that we work with.
Remind the people of the services that you guys provide.
Well, we really now are focusing on intake. So if you want products, we can do a session with you that is a little bit different from a consultation. It's really more in depth. So we'll allow you to bring your makeup and say, this is what I usually do and this is what I like to do. And we'll say, okay, well, how's that working for you? Where would you like to take it from there? Is there anything that we could help you with that could help you get there quicker? And in that session, we are allowed to really see what is in your heart and in your mind for your beauty experience and like meet you where you are. So that's one. The intake, we also have, our general makeovers, our facials. You can come and get a facial with us, a skincare facial. Some people think the facials is our makeup too. But you can come get a skincare facial, makeovers, and traveling services. We'll come to you. That's really huge, is the accommodations is really even bigger than the makeup. Because again, some people, the makeup that they don't even need a superstar makeup artist. They just need someone to be committed, to be excited, to be attentive, and to be skilled, So that's where we are in service now.
Yeah. All right. And explain some of the products that we have back here.
Oh, so we didn't bring too much products, but we do have some of our skincare. That is our skincare travel royal box there. And this is our exclusive brushes here. And Rose Diamond brush there, which is part of our makeup membership.
We have membership too, so the membership
we have
is
makeup
a big
membership.
deal.
Oh, that's huge. I forgot that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So get into it, y'all. Get this membership. And how can they get that membership? How can they find you?
DboraCosmetics.com. You can reach out to us there. You can call us, email us, and we'll get you integrated into this immersive luxury world of Dbora Cosmetics.
Luxury world of Dbora Cosmetics. And it's a unique spelling. Dbora, Dbora, right? And then cosmetics, Dbora Cosmetics.
Yeah.
So the products, that's the biggest thing too, is that we have a full line of skincare and cosmetics and makeup. Sometimes we're so busy giving customer service that they don't even actually know we're actually a brand. The brand was started in 2002.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And products all made with intention, thoughtfulness, and love.
Yes.
Love
That's right.
for the person.
And
that
also
you're
natural
servicing.
vitamins and minerals, and we focus mostly on like things that doesn't sit on your face. It blends to we have all different types of skincare, all different types of colors, foundations, lip colors, matte, you name it, we have it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So thank you so much.
Check out Dbora Cosmetics. Again, that's spelled Dbora Cosmetics.
Yes.
All
Thank
the
you.
socials. Check out their website. Get the membership. Book
Yeah.
for their services.
Yes.
We are so grateful that you joined us today to share your story, to drop some knowledge about the industry and
Thank you for having us.
how you pour in to others and the kinds of services that you provide. I'm grateful to be on this journey with you.
And thank you so much for having us. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you also to Ascend. I would say that again because they actually poured some wonderful things into us to help give us a stronger foundation as well.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Our pleasure, our honor to be on this journey with you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode and see you on the next round.